Hello, everyone around the globe. I greet you all today. Uh, we haven't been sharing much now lately, especially after the admin has allowed quite a number of send buttons. I see many are rejoicing, many are still asking questions, and some are wondering, and some are having some concerns that why send buttons. This is not what we've been expecting. We expected more than the button. Yes, it's true. We still have those ones. But since the billion coin is the system, I cannot go over them and cross question how they play their chess. Reason being, when they commenced the whole system, they already had a plan on how to go about the entire plan from day one right through to the end. Yes, of course, as people we will have those questions, of which I I encouraged many to ask questions and cross question everything. And then at the end of the day, yes, we only had a smaller number or limited number of those who were asking questions and questioning everything. Now, there are some doubts in my opening statement when I started a few minutes ago. There are some questions. Okay. And now we're going to share a lot. It's not going to be all about the cash kringel or kringel cash. Yeah. And it's not going to be about the bank, no, or the corn, the way it's growing, when and how one is going to access it. No. We're going to share about the mission of TBC and the system. How should the system be followed, and how should we use the system in order for us to see exactly where we are since the day we launched. Because we can rise up to the Mount Everest and say whatever without following the system. At the end of the day, we won't even have a way forward. We won't even understand TBC. Instead, we will eventually change along the way and start blaming someone who is the admin, because they are humans there, not robots. But I myself believe that they have a plan. And if you go to the latest article, it's the longest ever. And That's where we get learned. But I know only a limited number went there and understands exactly where we're heading, as I've already mentioned, and as I always mentioned, that the manual book for the billion coin is the education area or education block. Now, if you are given an assignment at the university or college or formal school, you will have to go through a syllabus or some books in order for you to obtain the exemption or the highest pass mark outcome. You cannot be promoted or move from one class to another without you being tested from the syllabus that you were given. There are first quarter exams, and there's half yearly, and then there's last one where now things will be happening to see whether you are in a position to move to the next grade. Today they call it grades, but in the olden days in South Africa we call them standards, and then forms, form 1, form 2, form 3, and right up to form 5. Today that form 5 is equivalent to grade 12. Yeah. So during those days, we had people who were not in a position to go through their syllabus. They wanted friends. It was funny those days, early 70s, while I was still at school. I'll be 53 years today. So those days, 70s, we used to get some approaches from friends and colleagues. Say, hey man, I'll pay you, please help me to get answers, things like that. But we didn't do that because we wanted those to be somebody one day. Now let's come back now where we are in the billion coin. People, before they ask questions, they don't normally sit down and ask themselves exactly what are the relevant questions to ask. They just ask anything through frustrations, anger, and negativity. Some of us, right through to the admin, even if we do have answers, most unfortunately, we don't just give out answers unnecessary. Reason being, we have a protocol. If we are leaders, we must lead by example. We are building leaders, not leaders who will not lead by an example. It applies to members or stakeholders, yes, of course, and leaders, yes. So we have to speak one language. Then how to do that? Because when you look at the history of Bitcoin, we've already mentioned that many a times, that the unknown Satoshi Nakamoto has brought the system to the entire world, and he is still unknown. The systems of the world from the elite side, they've tried to regulate it, but it is still difficult for them to do that because it cannot be regulated. You cannot regulate something that you do not know. They don't know it. Instead of you regulating it, you'll go out there to the social media using all the kinds of mechanism to destroy it because you don't have control over it. It is controlled by the people who are using it, and there is a reason for that. Now, I'm going to tell you something today. If we are not following the system of the billion coin by taking all the instructions that are given to all of us, whether leaders or members, the system at the end of the day, it's going to punish us. Many, they will understand what I'm saying. Since we are going through that process now, many, they are feeling it that TBC is not real, TBC is not fair, TBC is just a junk. You know why? Because it's punishing them. They don't want to learn it. They want the system to do for them while they're sitting. In politics, we used to say armchair politics. Politicians understand what I mean by that. So, some open blockchains systems, they are being regulated by mathematics, but we have to look at it this way. Regulations of the world are created by the rulers that we all know. Okay, so now, to them, anything that is going to be counter their system, of course, they are not going to let that thing prosper, but they'll always find a way using a media to crush it. But it is up to us to get into it, work on it, do exactly what we have agreed when we sign up or register as testers, especially the last question. If you remember it very well, what did it say? And of course, adding by following the agreement and taking all the instructions. Then all will go well for those who are applying these three steps. Yeah. So now, if we have the system like I've mentioned, we have to follow the instructions of that system so that we cannot be punished by the system. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, no matter what happens or who says what negative things about the TBC system, it's a scam, whatever, I'm sorry. The creator will still remain unknown, just like Satoshi Nakamoto, the unknown. So now, most people don't like something that it's neutral. They always love something that is regulated by the system. And that one, it's good for them. But on the other hand, they're complaining. The elite. It looks like we don't understand exactly where we are heading here. Only few who understands exactly where we are heading. So now, it is their problem. They want the other system that is being regulated. If it's not in the coin market, if it's not government regulated, it's not a good system. But you know what? That kind of system is the one that I appreciate, is the one that I am following, because it's good for everyone. And when you look at the whole entire world today, they need a solution for this crisis of poverty, and they want a solution, because the entire world, another part is working, another part they're working for themselves, others they are freelancing and etc. But at the end of the day, many are still trapped in the scarcity mind. Now, the elites, they are forgetting one thing, that take for an example. Yes, they can regulate the Bitcoin out of their countries, okay? But they cannot regulate Bitcoin out of their countries. Interesting. And many countries that are trying to regulate their countries, right, out of Bitcoin. What is happening today? What is happening? In their minds, they are always thinking about safety. No. I think myself and many, we don't want safety. We want free. Because if you are not free, you won't be in a position to control your finances. Someone will still be in control of your finances. You take, for instance, in my countries, South Africa, probably other countries as well. If you have a credit card, you are being owned. If you have a bond, you still owe someone. You have to wake up, whether you like it or not. So, you are not free as yet. So safe, no. That's what like other countries are doing. So I don't want safe. I want free, innovative, global, and neutral system without any regulations from the rulers. That's me and some. So now, it's an individual choice. We are not forcing anyone, but it's your choice. So now, whenever there is a problem within our system, TBC, our admin has never ever invited the interventions from the intermediates or organizations, or you know what they do? They solve the problem. And they solve the problem and they let us know. They even give us a grace that this is where we are. There is this, we've picked up this. So to me, I am at the right place. I don't know about you. So there are quite a number of things that we, oh, sorry for that, we need to work on, especially now since people have received their send buttons. Some they don't understand the send buttons, they have so much questions, they want to start from the beginning, how to make use of the send button, all those kind of things. Remember, we are dealing with people. I like what the admin has stated in the latest article, that we are dealing with people, not computers. Maybe if we were dealing with computers, we would have a different approach. But here we're dealing with people, almost nearly 3 million TBC members. Okay. So, like I've already mentioned, that the elites or the governments or the rulers of the world, there's a book about that by John Pelger, Rulers of the World. If one is interested, can go and grab that copy and read it. It's a very good book. Sorry. So the elites cannot regulate something that is not within their boundaries. Okay, like I've already mentioned, that the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, for example, and TBC cannot be regulated, right? Because rulers will always be suspicious of something that is going to empower humanity, or yeah, I'll put it that way. Yeah. So governance, it's not something that will be added to TBC, probably in Bitcoin as well. So you look at the, what do you call this, the Bitcoin, it's still a baby. 9 years for sure. It's still growing, but it's very disciplined, and we are only less than almost 2 years. Yeah, almost 2 years. But we've done much. So much has happened, but the admin managed to save us from the hands of the scammers, the discounters, the hackers, and so many more attacks from outside. So now that doesn't mean that if we are almost 2 years, we are still a newbie to Bitcoin, of course, and other cryptocurrencies. That doesn't mean that things won't change. We won't have a direction, where are we going, or things like that. We still have a direction. Like I've already mentioned, that the creator knows where the whole system is heading, and I trust them. I don't know about you. I'm not worried or concerned about the cash out button, because the admin, since from day one, they've let us trade our coins peer to peer, many, when everything started last 2016, some of them, they were with me out there, presentations, workshops, going up and down, making money. So why some of those today can't give the testimony about that? You have to give those testimonies because you know the truth. I even know how much most of you had made those days. So you made a lot, guys. So come out clean. Now, what TBC is doing now, the 50% and extending the criminal cash right through the year, it's a bonus because the same way that we were doing it, we can still do it even now, irrespective of whether our one coin is over 40 million in our currency in South Africa or not. You can still make it. But if you had other ideas or understanding, then that's going to be a problem there because you are moving on. Yes, sure, we are moving on. So we are all participants. As long as you're a member of the Billion Coin, we are all participants in the system. So we want the system that it's not controlled or regulated by the rulers, but free from their control. That's the system that we want. Okay. You know the rulers of the world. Yeah. Or the cabals. You can use that word. Yeah. So, last part one. There is another article. It's on the latest articles. Okay, I've mentioned about the send buttons, which is a good thing. But follow the system, then you will see that this system is working 24/7. Now, last part one again. We have those with kringels, one coin, two coins, etc. But they don't have that much in their wallets. Let's be honest and let's face it. Because within this coin, we have more surprises in store from the admin side. For an example, in one of the articles, merchants will be coming on board, and then we will be utilizing these coins to exchange goods and services. If one says, I have 10 TBC coins, or yeah, I have 10 TBC coins or 20. Let me tell you something. Most of the stakeholders who came on board 2016, the earliest videos were encouraging us to buy and hold because there's more. That is why I've mentioned in my discussion with you that even if we know some of the answers, but you don't just give out answers like that. There are reasons for that. We want solid leadership, not leadership by crisis, but I would say leadership by objective. So, to those who are still working on their cookies, continue doing so. It's a good thing. Top up as much as you can and wait. You'll see what's going to happen. You'll see the brighter future in this community. Yes, some they've purchased $100. It's a good thing. You can still top up on that. Carry on. Do that. and some they have criminals. Top up. You may have a send button, but not enough coins. Partner with those who have more stakes. You will still receive your 50%. Some, what they do, instead of taking the whole sum of money, if let's say for example you partner with someone, then they purchase $500, you share 50-50 with that person, you have your 250, and the seller also have his or her 50%. Then you, since you have partnered, from your 50%, you take 50%, you top up more kernels, then you can utilize the other 50%, because at the end of the day, yes, we have to survive. We need passive income, but still that does not give us the right to discount, because if you are still out there, discounters, we are already here for you. Let us follow the agreement and the code of the billion coin. And lastly, I will still encourage people to get familiar with our system. I've already explained much that what is the difference between our system and other systems out there. Some systems, they are so unpredictable. So with the billion coin, since you know that, oh, it's 1% or 2% or 3%, you can sit down and do your maths that after 6 or 18 months, this is where the value of my growth will be. The admin knows what everyone wants, and whatever the admin does is doing that for every one of us. For now, there's so much I would love to share with you. Most of us, we have learned a lot from the billion coin. It's not just about having coins. No, there's more in this community. If you want to know more, familiarize yourself with the whole system, and the rest the system will take care of itself. And thank you for now. This is the TBC president in South Africa. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.